Hello and good morning. Today our lesson is going to be about how to group questions together. There is a common misconception among students that IELTS cue card questions are disparate and totally dissimilar to one another. However, that's not the case. We could group questions together and it is possible to reduce the amount of learning that we do. Okay, here. So I think at Cosmo, this is a technique that we teach and which has been quite useful for so many students. Now look at these questions. Here, let's say we've got 12 questions altogether. For an untrained eye, this might look like an entirely different set of questions. We've got no similarity. But look closer. Here, so let's look at the first question. Describe your best friend. Here, what we're going to do is first introduce and then you describe and then say why you like. Okay, so you've got three parts to your answer. Introduction, description, and say why you like him or her. In the first part, in introduction, so we're going to say the answer these questions: which, where, when, who, what, how long, how often, how many. Here, look, so and then description and then say why you like him or her. So like for example, describe your best friend. They say, who is he? They say, my best friend is Dash. Where did you meet him? We used to go to the same school together, even sit on the same bench. And they say how many hours. I used to spend at least 15 hours in the company of my friend, or 10 hours if it's too long. And then say, and so he's much closer to me than anyone else in the family. Perhaps you could say, give an introduction. And then you're going to describe, say, your friend. So describe your friend. So first you're going to do about the physical description. Let's say when you're going to do that, we're going to use certain mnemonics, so perhaps it'll be much more easy for you to follow. Let's say for description, what you could use is glaze. Glaze would be, let's say, gorgeous, lovely, adorable, charming, extraordinary. Like this is just something to remember. Let's say if you're going to describe your friend, you could say your friend is quite a popular person in the school. He looks quite attractive with gorgeous wavy hair, lovely blue eyes, adorable lightish darkish complexion, charming sophisticated personality, extraordinarily sharp and striking facial features. And then you could say the activities that you do together. Perhaps you go to the beach, watch the sunset, have a leisurely stroll, and it's a Friday evening. You might even go to a cinema, watch a newly released flick, and perhaps finish the day with a meal in a fine restaurant. These are activities. I say, these are just examples, and then say why you like him or her. When you're going to say why you like him or her, perhaps we could talk about the personal characteristics. Let's say, for example, let's say this is another mnemonic perhaps which might be of use to you. Like say, just for this question, D, C, 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 D, E, F. Like for example, dedication, charity, cooking, character, disposition, ethos, family, values. Perhaps how you could say is one of the striking aspects of my friend is his dedication. Dedicated work, dedicated friendship, dedicated relationship. Another quality of him which I like is his a charitable nature. He donates 10% of his income to charities. Perhaps he spends his evenings and weekends in the nearby orphanage where he teaches the kids there the skills that he has. The cooking skills, his favorite cuisine is Oriental, which is your favorite too. Once in a month, he invites you over for meals, which you enjoy in the company of each other. His character, affable, amiable, congenial. His disposition, which is calm, composed, even-tempered, equanimous. And finally, what you like about him is his ethos, family values. Family comes to him before everything else, and he makes sure to spend quality time with his family in spite of his busy schedule. So he got so much positive attributes. So there's no reason why you wouldn't like him at all. So that's why he's your favorite. Okay, he's your best friend. Now, a recap. Let's say first, you say introduction, which, where, who, which, where, when, who, what, how long, how often, how many. You're going to say this, introduce. Second part, description, use glaze, activities, what you do, and why you like him or her is D, C, 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 D, F, and all these words alongside. Okay, so now, keep this in mind. Now we're going to look at the next question. A family member whom you like. A family member whom you like. Perhaps you could say, you could say, let's say your twin sister, twin brother. Okay, let's say, and perhaps see how well everything can be put together. Okay, so perhaps you could say there you said you used to sit in the same bench or go to the same school. Perhaps you say, again, you could say the same thing here too. Your twin brother, twin sister, go to the same school, sit in the same bench, or perhaps even say you spend at least 10 hours in the company of each other. much closer to you than anyone else. Then perhaps you say you're going to describe him. He's a very popular person. Perhaps he looks quite attractive with gorgeous wavy hair, lovely blue eyes, adorable lightish complexion, or a darkish complexion, charming, sophisticated personality, extraordinarily sharp, striking facial features. All of these you could say. Okay, and of course, but really, don't really think that whether your brother or sister is really as let's say, beautiful or attractive like this. Don't even think about it. It's only, everything is in our mind, you know. What you think you are is what you are, really. What you think your brother is or sister is, that's exactly who they are. So don't worry, just say it. Remember, once again, let me tell you, this IELTS is not about truth. You don't have to say truth. You don't have to be truthful. You don't have to be a Mahatma to get a 7 in IELTS. You will be fine, perfect. Just say, just don't think. Just say it. Okay, so perhaps why you like him or her. Again, you could say D, C, 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 D, F. Your twin brother, dedicated, is a charitable nature. Is a cooking skills, he's got really enviable character, affable, amiable, congenial, or disposition, is calm, composed, even tempered, equanimous, ethos, family values, family comes to him before everything else. So same thing, blah blah. Let's look at the next question. Let's say an elderly neighbor whom you like. Let's say elderly neighbor, who is he? First say his name. Remember, they say you can start your answers in IELTS from the question itself. Let's say if the question is an elderly neighbor whom you like, you can start with the same. An elderly neighbor whom I like is, go straight in. You don't have to go in a roundabout way. Today I would like to talk about. You don't have to. Well, most people don't like to talk about anything. Well, they say, here you can start with the question itself. An elderly neighbor whom you like is, they say whoever it is, they say Mr. So-and-so, and say where does he live? Opposite your home. Or when did he move in? About 15 years back from Chandigarh. And so what does he do? He was an ex-serviceman, perhaps he's retired from the army, whatever. And then perhaps how long he's been living in your neighborhood for nearly about 15 years. And then, so now he has become very close to you. And the second part, you're going to describe him. How are you going to describe? Just use glaze. Okay, so in spite of his age, he looks quite attractive with gorgeous wavy hair, lovely blue eyes, black eyes, brown eyes, black eyes, blue eyes, doesn't really matter. Any adorable, lightish, darkish, anything, doesn't matter. Okay, is a charming, sophisticated personality and extraordinarily sharp and striking facial features. And what do you do? What are the activities you do after school, or perhaps with him? Perhaps after school, you and he, or perhaps after college, you and your perhaps the elder neighbor. Perhaps you go to the beach, watch the sunset, have a leisurely stroll. Same thing you said for the friend. You could say the same. And then you're going to say, why do you like him or her? Because you say the same activity. You say dedication, quite charitable. Same as his dedicated work, dedicated friendship, dedicated relationship. Donates 10% of his income to charities. Spends his evenings, weekends in the nearby orphanage. He teaches the kids there the skills that he has. And then they say cooking skills, because favorite cuisine is Oriental, your favorite too. Invites, so once in a month he invites you over for meals which you enjoy in the company of each other. Same again, character, affable, amiable, congenial, say disposition, calm, composed, even temper, equanimous, ethos, family values. Same answer that you gave. Okay, with minor changes. Okay, so next one is someone who can be a good leader. Next, someone who can be a good leader is my best friend Dash. Now you have made the connection. Now go straight to the same answer. Okay, so perhaps you used to go to the same school together, sit at the same bench. No, perhaps you spend at least 10 hours in the company of each other, much closer to you than anyone else in the family. Second part, describe. Say this popular person in the school, attractive with gorgeous wavy hair, lovely blue eyes, adorable, lightish complexion, charming, sophisticated personality, extraordinarily sharp and striking facial features. Well, say same thing. Activities you do together, and what are the leadership qualities he has? Do you think dedication is a leadership quality? Oh, charitable nature. Of course a leader has to be kind. Of course a leader has to have a friendly character. Of course a leader has to be quite calm, composed all the time. Of course our leaders should have family values. Same leadership qualities. We got the leader. Next one, a beautiful person whom you know. And that beautiful person you know would be? My best friend who dash. Same thing. You can have the same answer, no change. First you give a connection and then the rest is all the same. Okay, and you could have the same answer. And perhaps next, a person whom you like would be my best friend. Same again, same answer. All these questions are IELTS exam questions. This is a very, very important question. These are repeated they're repeatedly asked for many, many students, so it's a very important question, I would say. And then they say your favorite child. They say next one. Let's say a child. Who is a child? Nephews. How old do you think is a child? Age, let's say that's normally what people think, but let's say legally a child is 18 years old. In India it is, or perhaps in the UK I think it's 16, and there are some perhaps in Western countries 16 to 18 would be the average age to be classified as a child. So you say a child, favorite child, you say niece or nephew, you say who is he, perhaps you say where, again you could use the same thing. Perhaps you used to take the child to the school, perhaps bring him back from home from some school, and perhaps you used to spend at least 10 hours in the company of the child, so perhaps he's much closer to you than anyone else in the family. You can tell, you say your niece or nephew or anybody. And then perhaps you say Glaze, again, like attractive with gorgeous baby hair, lovely blue eyes, adorable lightish complexion, charming. Say charming and sophisticated personality, extremely sharp and striking facial features. You can say till 18, it's a child, all right? So perhaps you could say any age till 18. Okay, so it's about 16 years, whatever. Okay, so and then activities you do together, same thing. Go to the beach, watch a sunset, have a leisurely stroll. A Friday evening, go to the cinema, watch a newly released flick, and finish the day with a meal in a fine restaurant. Same thing. Or perhaps why do you like him? Why do you like him or her? Perhaps very dedicated to relationships, friendships. Work, charitable. Here you could say slight change. You would say charitable. She doesn't donate 10% of income. Perhaps she donates her toys or perhaps her clothes, which she doesn't use anymore, to those in the society who are less privileged than her or him or her. And then perhaps say cooking skills, real good cook. Her favorite cuisine is Oriental. Perhaps and once in a month she cooks food for the family. Okay, and perhaps character, affable, amiable, congenial, disposition, calm, composed, even-tempered, equanimous. We also say patient, or perhaps honest, very honest, patient. All of these you could have, but these are very positive qualities. Of course, you like a person for their positive qualities, so you could use the same, perhaps all of these, and same answer you could get. And next one, let's say a person who is similar to you. And person who's similar to you would be, or perhaps you could say your best friend, and you would say, and follow the answer. Just like me, looks quite attractive with gorgeous wavy hair, or perhaps short hair, lovely black eyes, brown eyes, adorable darkish complexion, lightish complexion, charming, sophisticated personality, and extremely sharp or striking facial features. And then, of course, the activities you do: go to the beach, watch the sunset, have a leisurely stroll, blah blah. And then you can say, why do you like him or her? Yes. Okay, what are the similar qualities both of you have got? You can say both of us are dedicated, both of us have got charitable, both of us are charitable, and both of us have got cooking skills, and both of us have got really enviable character, both of us affable, amiable, congenial, both of us are calm, composed, even-tempered, equanimous, so both of us have got real strong family values. Same answer, but similarities would be that. And same again, let's say a couple who are similar to one another would be a couple. You say going to talk about a couple who are similar to one another. And so who would be? Perhaps you say the ex-serviceman you talked about, remember? Ex-serviceman and his wife. And then you say both of them, and say where do they live? Opposite your home. When did they move in? 15 years back, yes. And then they say, how many years they have lived there? About 15 years. And so second part, you're going to say description. Both of them look attractive with gorgeous wavy hair, lovely blue eyes, brown eyes, adorable darkish complexion, charming, Same answer. And both of them have got similar qualities. They say they've got what? They are dedicated, charitable, they've got real good cooking skills, and both of them have got enviable character, affable, amiable, congenial, and disposition. They say both of them are calm, composed, even temper, equanimous, and both have got real good family values. Same thing, same answer to give for a couple who are similar to one another. This question was asked very, very recently, but last 1 week back. Right, and next one, a well-known political personality you like. And so, of course, you can talk in India, you can talk about Shashi Tharoor, he'll fit in all the qualities they say. First, you're going to say about his, say some truth about him. He's a Parliament from Trivandrum, Lok Sabha constituency, central minister twice, and perhaps he's a retired bureaucrat from United Nations. Well, and then perhaps his family, like, say he's got 3 children, whatever. And then perhaps you describe him, Glaze, looks quite attractive, Glaze, and perhaps you don't want to say the activities you do together with him, and you could skip that, and then you could carry on to what D, C, 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 D, E, F. They say dedication, charity, but you say perhaps how are you going to make the connection here? What you have to do is you just have to say perhaps you read the biography of Shashi Tharoor, and from which you came to know a lot about him. And what are the qualities that you liked when you read that book? Striking feature of Shashi Tharoor is his dedication. One of the enticing quality of Shashi Tharoor is his charitable nature. Donates 10% of his income to charities. Blah, blah. Another alluring attribute of Shashi Tharoor is his cooking skills. He cooks, perhaps his favorite cuisine is Oriental, which is my favorite too. And once in a month, they say they cook food. So he cooks food for his family. Okay, in spite of his busy schedule. And then you're going to say his character has got enviable character, he's affable, amiable, congenial at all times, he's quite patient, or perhaps whenever you get stuck with any difficult concepts, or his friends get stuck with difficult concepts, make sure to sit down with them and explain it, even if it took many hours. Or perhaps honest, very honest person, you could say. Same thing, you could say, whatever you said for the others, you could say, use it for here as well. Okay, and then we say all the qualities. These are very positive qualities, so you could use it for anybody. Let's say, for example, not just for people. Let's say, but we're going to talk about describing yourself. Okay, how are we going to do that? Physical description. You say, I think I'm very attractive with gorgeous wavy hair, short hair, lovely black eyes, adorable lightish complexion, charming, sophisticated personality, extremely sharp and striking facial features. And what are the qualities of myself I like? I'm very dedicated work, very dedicated friendship, relationship. I'm very charitable too. I donate 10% of my income to charities. And again, cooking, so I'm a real good cook. My favorite cuisine is Oriental. This again, I'm very affable, amiable, congenial. Will you deny that you are not? Can you deny that you are not calm and composed at all times? Or can you deny that you don't have any family values? Nobody would. Or can you deny that you are not dedicated? Can you deny that you are, say, you're not kind enough, kind at heart to be charitable? Nobody denies all of it. All of these can be applicable for majority of people. And so, say you could say political personality would be the same. Or next, say a person whom you met in a plane. What can you say? Person whom you met in a plane. This is a typical IELTS question where they say majority of the people who go to IELTS exam would not have gone in a plane. And especially, we could say that in very developing countries, people would not have gone in a flight. They could have taken a flight journey anywhere. So perhaps this is a typical IELTS question. Here you're going to think about truth. You're not going to go anywhere. Perhaps you're going to make things up. Perhaps they say. Make things up, creative, imaginative, but don't lie, be creative, imaginative, that's what you got to do, okay? So a person whom you met in a plane, again follow the formula, who is he? Perhaps who do you think you can say for a person whom you met in a plane? Shashi Tharoor, yes, of course, he's in the plane all the time. So you say, so who is he? Same thing, what you said for earlier. Let's say, who is he? Perhaps a person we met in a plane is Shashi Tharoor. Let's say, again, where did you meet him? I met him in Jet Airways flight from Trivandrum to New Delhi. They say, when was it? It was in the year 2005 while I was reading first year nursing in Dash College, whatever. Okay, and how long? Perhaps even though it's been nearly 5 years, 10 years since you met him, I still remember that day like it was just yesterday. And again, we're going to talk about the, what the time when you met it. Perhaps you just have to make a small change. So perhaps you're seated in a plane, and you say the person who sat next to you looked quite familiar. When you looked closer, you realize it was Shashi Tharoor, none other than Shashi Tharoor. In person, he looked even more attractive than in photo, with what? Gorgeous wavy hair, lovely blue eyes, adorable, brightest complexion, charming, sophisticated personality, extraordinarily sharp and striking facial features. And then perhaps you had a talk with him for nearly 3 hours, and from that talk you came to know a lot about him. And what was that? Because one of the striking aspects of Shashi Tharoor is his dedication, is his charitable nature, is his cooking skills, is his character, affable, amiable, congenial. From that short conversation, from 3 hours, the conversation or perhaps the talk you had with him, you came to know a lot about him. That disposition, ethos, family values, all of it is the same. And perhaps you also, there is another question you get asked often, is a leader you admire, and that would be Shashi Tharoor, the same person you could say. Shashi Tharoor, perhaps an MP from Trivandrum. Okay, or perhaps someone who does charity work. And who do you say? Someone who does charity work. Who do you think? Perhaps you could talk about the elderly neighbor whom we did earlier. Perhaps who is that Dash? And where does he live? Opposite your home. When did he move in? 15 years back. And say perhaps how long has he lived there? Again, he's been living there for nearly 15 years. He does. What does he do? Perhaps he does. Say he runs an orphanage or something. And then you describe him with grace. And then activities here, you could say after school he takes the orphan children to the beach. There we said we go to the beach, watch the sunset, have a leisurely. Here you say you take the children to the beach, watch the sunset, have a leisurely stroll, and it was a Friday evening. He takes them to to the cinemas and to watch a newly released flick and finish the day with meal in a fine restaurant. He does it with the orphan children. Now we are just changing the characters. Previously it was you and your friend. Now the characters be changed. There's an elderly neighbor and with the orphan children. Or perhaps the work he does. And why do you like him? Perhaps to talk about his work. Why do you like him or so? Perhaps you could say he's dedicated. We say here you're going to say everything with reference to his charity work. Dedicated to his charity work. Dedicated to any relationship that he makes while at work. And he's got charitable nature, could say the same, and cooking skills, and his favorite cuisine is Oriental, and once in a month he cooks food for orphan children. Yes, and then it's a character. His character is affable, amiable, and congenial towards orphan children. Okay, he's quite honest as well. And work, same answer. Right. Okay, so you have about 12 questions. All of them have got similar answers. This is how it works. And of course, this is not limited to just this. There are many other questions where you got slight alterations and you can fit in to those questions. The answers have to be manipulated just in a minor bit, and then you can fit it for those questions. This is the method-based speaking technique which should make your learning, IELTS learning, a lot easier. People do feel that there are a number of questions in IELTS universe, in Q card, is quite unlimited. However, that certainly is not the case. We have isolated about 30 concepts. Once you go through those concepts, or 25, to maximum 30. Once you go through those concepts, then most likely 90 to 95% of the times you are likely to get questions only from that universe. Wherever in the world you are, wherever in the world you write the exam, these are the questions which you would be getting. Was almost that's like a guarantee. This is one concept, and this concept has got, let's say, 12 questions to begin with. There are many others as well in this concept, and all of them have got similar answers. This is that one question, first question, and here ends our first lesson. Thank you.